Hello, welcome back to another episode. So tonight we're going to start stripping down this motor and getting it ready for the Mivec conversion. Now this front, I'm going to start off by pulling off the turbo and the wastegate, and then this exhaust manifold here. I know it had an exhaust leak, so I'm not sure if it was leaking from the flange. I did notice that there's a bit of soot here through the heat wrap, and I'm wondering if maybe I missed a weld when I welded it, or just left a little bit of a gap. So I'll see if there's any other evident signs of it leaking, and if not, then I'll pull that heat wrap off and sort that out, and then we'll get that sorted. So we'll get that off. I pulled the exhaust manifold off that's on the back here as well. Get that one off. We'll get the intake manifold off. These HT leads and coils, I'm actually going to stick with these coils with the Mivec heads. I'm just going to make up some new leads. I am going to have to find my Mivec cam position sensor, which is in one of those containers over there, so I'm going to have to sort through all of that and try and find it, so that's going to make life a bit more tricky. Once I got the manifolds off and the intake manifold off, I'll pull the heads off. I'll handle the timing belt on that, and then I've got to pull the gearbox off and swap out the clutch and flywheel, and then we'll just go from there. Yeah, so I'll start by getting these manifolds off, the turbo manifolds off and the intake manifold off, and we'll go from there. Also, if you want to get into the draw to win the steering wheel, like, comment and subscribe. I've found that some of my subscribers' YouTube accounts aren't actually public, so I can't see them that they've subscribed. All I can see is that they have subscribed. So if that's the case, can you just chuck a comment so I can see that you've subscribed? Just chuck subscribed or something in the comments, that'd be cool, and then you'll just go into the draw as well to win that steering wheel. And yeah, I'm going to draw that out on the 1st of July. There's a website where you can put in all these different names, and it will automatically do that, and I'll do a video of that to make sure it's fair, and just to make sure that there's no one out there thinking that someone's getting a better deal or anything like that. And yeah, so yeah, just chuck in the comment that you've subscribed, so then I can see your YouTube username, and then yeah, it'll be all good. Cool. Alrighty now, so we've got intake manifolds off. I've taken off all the thermostat housing stuff. Both the exhaust manifolds are off. And now I get down to the timing. So this here is where your normal hydraulic tensioner would sit. It still looks like a normal hydraulic tensioner, but my one, what I've actually done is I've gutted it. Let's see if we get under here. I've gutted it out, and I've put a big long bolt through it, so I can actually adjust my belt pressure to whatever I want without having to worry about it. Come on, focus. Without having to worry about it losing pressure halfway through and falling out. So I think that's going to come very in handy once I start running the Mivec belt, because the belt is quite a bit longer, and I think it might be a touch too long for like this idler and tensioner setup, but I won't know until I get it all on. So let's just rip into it. We'll get the belt off, rocket covers off, heads off, and go from there. And just like that, we have an exploded view. So both the heads are off. Now it's time to move over to put the Mivec ones on. What I might do first is I might just check to see if the new injectors fit these fuel rails, and then I'll move on to putting the heads on. So the new 800cc injectors are in now. They were literally a straight swap in, so I'm guessing that the factory injectors are like a Denso Sard setup, because that's what these ones here are, and they've just fitted straight in. Even the clips around them fitted in, so that was awesome. So they're all in now. So now I'm going to move on to bolting the Mivec heads onto the block, and we'll go from there. Thought I'd just show you this part of the Mivec. So the actual Mivec head is three parts. You got your head, you got the Mivec plate which sits here, and then you got the rocket cover which is just sitting over there at the moment. So when you bolt this up, as you can see, the bolt holes are like directly under all the Mivec system. So what you do is you undo all the big 12mm bolts the whole way around. You don't undo any of the 10mm except for, I believe it's that one, and then you can lift this whole plate off, and then you just literally have the heads. So then we can put the heads on, and then pretty much put everything else on, and then put the Mivec plates back on, etc, etc. Okay, so we've got the head gaskets here, got two head gaskets, and the top end gasket set. I still have the bottom end gasket set in the box, which I probably won't need to use because I don't plan on pulling the sump off. So I'm going to get that gasket on, get the first head on, then I'll clean up the other, and then I'll clean up the other Mivec head and get that one ready to go on. We'll torque them down, then I'll put the intake manifolds on and the exhaust manifolds all back on. And then I'll worry about putting on the actual Mivec top plates. The reason I won't be putting these on probably tonight is because I have the new lash adjusters, or whatever you want to call them, the little shim that goes between there and the top of the valve. I have a brand new set of them over at home, and I didn't bring them with me, so I'll get them. I'll get them tomorrow, and we'll get those bolted on tomorrow. So let's rip into the heads and the manifolds. Alright, so the manifolds are on now, both the exhaust manifolds and the intake manifolds on. Like I said, I'm not going to put the Mivec plates on until I've brought the bits over from over home. So what I thought I might do tonight to finish up tonight is pull the box off and get the old clutch and flywheel off, and then that'll probably be a pretty good stopping point for tonight. Alright, so the new clutch is on. I've also put the thermostat housing and that back on. Now I did unbolt this and go to change thermostat because I have a high flow thermostat, but I got given the wrong part, so it was way too small. So I had to put that one back in because I've run out of time actually. So I got that. Everything else back over there is all back on now. New clutch is in, new flywheel's on, gearbox is back on. That all went on and off relatively easy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these two Mivec plates ready to go on. Now what they have is on the bottom of these, you got these little rocker arms which sit on the valves, and they have these little shims here. Now the ones that came off it just had the shim, they didn't have these plastic retainers, and what I found out is after a certain number of Ks they end up breaking and ending up in the sump and all that. So I've got some brand new ones, so they should hold that in while she's doing 8,000 RPM, and just a bit of peace of mind really. So I've got to put them on all of them. Just give this a little bit of a clean up. And then I'll torque them on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull the cam caps off and just put a squirt of oil in all of these, so when I start it up or wind it over for the first time, she's not running dry, because these things seize really easy. Don't ask me how I know, just trust me, I know. So we'll get on to that now. Okay, so she's pretty much all back together. All the Mivec plates are on, they're all torqued down, everything's all good. All the caps are on, that's all good. But I have come across pretty much my first problem with this whole thing, and it's nothing to do with the Mivec swap, it's to do with me being a complete and utter idiot. For some reason, when I first got it, I thought it'd look cool if that was machined off. But I've also taken off the timing marks. Oops. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to try to find someone who has a rocker cover that I could perhaps borrow for a day, just so I can time the motor and then get them back. Yeah, it was a bit of a stupid mistake, but that happens. Live and learn. Also, I have to try and find my cam position sensor. So I suppose I better do that next and get that sorted. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, hang on, you got these covers on the wrong way around. Well, actually, the Mivec heads come off a motor like out of a Diamante, and they're obviously facing the other way. So yes, my filler cap is going to be closest to the firewall, but that was one of the reasons I did this plenum, so I can still fill it. Some people will just cut these off and re-weld them on the front one. And re-weld them on the front one, but I'm not going to bother with that because I've got this plenum. I can just fill it up from the back. It's no big deal. But that timing marks issue is a big deal. But we'll solve it. Other than that, pretty much that's exactly how the motor's going to look going back into the car. I will pull these covers off and strip them down and repaint them at some stage, but because my mate's coming this weekend to help me wire up the link and all that, I really need to get it all together and back in the car. So that is top priority at the moment. Okie dokie.